Packers are down in a 2-score game, and Dan Orlovsky, they call illegal hands to the face here.
Totally inexcusable. This game, which was a great football game, is gifted to the Packers, taken from the Lions because of poor, consistent officiating.
Yeah, it was not hands to the face. Instead, it's an automatic first down. Packers would score on the drive. Ensuing drive, the Lions don't get this call here on what looks like it certainly could be pass interference.
I mean, the left arm is totally draped across the man's chest well before the football ever gets there. If that's not PI, I don't know.
As a consequence, the Lions are forced to punt. And then you guessed it, inside of 2 minutes, Packers again on a third down. Rodgers is trying to buy time. He's going to throw an incomplete pass, but again, there's the same call on the same player. Trey Flowers is called for illegal hands to the face. It's worth pointing out he had never had a flag for that penalty in his career. Last night it happens twice on third downs in critical circumstances. It enables the Packers to run the clock down to 2 seconds left and kick a field goal with Mason Crosby to win the game 23-22. So I'd love to sit here and pretend this is not the story of the game, but it's impossible not to. So as we put together 6 questions through week 6 of the NFL to this point, because that game ends week 6 of the NFL. Swagoo, I will turn to you. Here's my first burning question 6 weeks into the season. What is one thing we can do to make the officiating better right now?
Nothing. We can't do anything to make it better because they're not going to. There's an arrogant nature to what these referees are doing. And look, I know everybody wants to go through a soliloquy and tell them how to fix it, but they're not going to do anything. Greeny, this ain't the first week this didn't happen. This has actually been happening for the entire season. So nothing. They ain't going to do nothing. They're going to address it in the means of
Listen, I don't have a soliloquy, but the one thing that they can do, every flag that gets thrown, you can have someone up in the booth that either confirms or overturns that flag. It's very simple. It is the eye in the sky that we talked about last year. You cannot buzz down and go, that should have been a flag. But if you throw the flag, if that was the flag thrown last night, you can immediately call and go, overturn it, not a penalty.
There's more to be said about this, and we certainly will. But I did not want all of our questions and all of our show today to be about that. So let's get my remaining 5 questions, I promise.
Will be fun.
A real football question. All right. Cowboys play the Eagles this Sunday night. Burning question number 2. Who winds up winning the NFC East, Swagoo?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Listen, I know everybody is out on them. I know things are happening bad. One thing for me is that's big. When we get to football, we can talk about all of the ancillary things. Tyron Smith is not playing, which is a big deal for the Dallas Cowboys right now. And I believe Dak will get back to what he needs to do.
Listen, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win Sunday, and then they're going to win the NFC East. I believe in Howie Roseman as a general manager, and I believe that he thinks, I got a really good football team, and they'll make a trade for a corner. They'll get Darby back. They'll get Mills back. They got the better quarterback. They got the better roster. They'll win the NFC East.
If only Jalen Ramsey were available.
If only they wouldn't.
All right, next up, question number 3. We talk a lot about the Browns this year. Will the Browns make the playoffs? Orlovsky.
The Browns will not make the playoffs. This is a team right now. This is why. You lead the NFL in playoffs. You're on a historic pace for your playoffs. There's no team playing worse second half football. Correct that. There's 2 teams playing worse in the second half than the Cleveland Browns. It's the Miami Dolphins and the Washington Redskins.
Hold on a second. How are you ignoring what's going on here?
Because
Marcus,
you got to ignore the noise.
Why are you doing this?
I'm so used to him being right. He dead wrong. He was dead wrong.
I was.
Just go ahead and tell everybody.
I was wrong.
Dead wrong.
Until the Cleveland Browns proved me to be right, I was wrong.
Okay, I like it. I didn't understand it. So I got the clarification. Next question, burning question. If the season ended right now,
you take this one.
Who gets your vote for MVP?
It will be Christian McCaffrey. If it ended today, he's the most valuable player not only to his team, but they wouldn't be having this success. We're talking about Kyle Allen, and he's 4-0. It's because of 22. Period.
Well,
and I know it's a quarterback. I know it's a quarterback trophy, and everybody wants the quarterback to get it. This dude right now is affecting the game for his team more than anybody in the NFL.
It's a new week. I had McCaffrey last week. I can't avoid Russell Wilson anymore. Like, what Russell Wilson is doing, going on the road last week, down 20-6, calling his own plays because his helmet communication goes out. He's on historic pace, over 70% completion, 9 yards per attempt. The only guy to ever do that was Joe Montana. Right now, today, this week, it's Russell Wilson.
Okay, let me go to the next one, because this is something that I'm picking up a lot of steam in social media conversation. You know that undrafted free agent Kyle Allen is 4-0 as the starting quarterback in Carolina. Does Cam Newton get his starting job back when healthy, Marcus?
Hell yeah. You know why? Because he's making about $25 million more than Kyle Allen making. That's number one. And look, you're not going to throw the ship away on Cam Newton because Kyle Allen is having a good run. You know what Kyle Allen is telling the Carolina Panthers right now? We may have a guy for the future. Now, it may not be a long future. He may be in there much more sooner than he thought he would be. But when Cam come back, Cam's going to be the star.
Cam doesn't get his job back. And right now, because of the NFL is a meritocracy, he doesn't deserve his job back. Kyle Allen's 5-0 as a starter.
Cool.
He has not turned the football over. Check yourself on who their head coach is. Ron Rivera. He's a defensive head coach. I want to play good defense. I want to have good special teams. And I don't want to turn the football over. This was an 0-2 football team that is now 4-2.
No doubt.
And a big reason why is because Kyle Allen, his play, and not turning the football over. I love Cam Newton. He's going to be a starter again somewhere. But if he came back today, Kyle Allen, that's his job.
I got time for one more. Sixth burning question. The two top picks in the same draft, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, really struggling. Will either of them be a starting quarterback in 2020?
Yeah, Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers in 2020. I don't think that Bruce Arians took that job with the thinking that this was going to be a one-year sample with Jameis Winston. I also say this, like everyone's up in arms about the London performance. London is a whole different world. Jameis was actually 4 straight games of 100-plus QBR. He's had 4 really good football games this year. He opened the season bad against San Francisco, and then he had his London game. I still think Jameis is the starter in Tampa in the future.
Agree or disagree?
It's over for both of these guys. It's done. You got to go in the direction. It's over. Listen, they are what they are. We talk about London. We talk about the first game. This is not. Jameis has had ups. And he had very low lows. And at that position, just like you talked about, the inconsistency is not going to win anything for you. So in Jameis' situation, and Marcus Mariota, same way, inconsistent. His legs coming up. Both of these guys right now are in a position where they're going to have to find a new home. And hopefully it's a bad team that'll give them another shot. But in their prospective spots, it's a wrap.
We shall see. We are 6 weeks through the season. We have 6 burning questions, and we have these two guys going to keep arguing as the morning continues. Al, back to the hoops.
Yeah, let's talk a little hoops with NBA countdowns. Jay Will, can I just say how much I love saying that?
That sounds good. I'll take it.
So we had the Warriors and the Lakers yesterday, and whatever. LeBron didn't play, Steph did. The Warriors the entire offseason have done the whole, the rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. Should we not count them out?
Look, Stefan's going to have an MVP caliber type year. I think he's going to put up crazy numbers. This team is not defensively what they were last year. I think losing some pieces. I have them right now 7th or 8th potentially, but I don't think they're going to make a playoff. I think Steph potentially with his usage rate could get hurt, or they're one injury away from not making the playoffs.
Wow, so you could see a season where Steph goes for an MVP, but they actually don't make the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay. That would
Him and D'Angelo Russell, they're not great defensively. And then you're relying upon Draymond Green to carry a lot of the load offensively, and that's not his forte.
And especially with Klay Thompson being down for what we assume is going to be the entire season. But let's talk about the team that everyone thinks is going to make the playoffs. In fact, Vegas seems to think that along with the Clippers, they're going to win it all. Do you think the Lakers are the best team in the West?
Look, LeBron James, I think, is going to come back for a big-time season. Anthony Davis is a top 5 player, but I don't know how you just are remiss to look over the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, you have Kawhi Leonard, a guy who was the Finals MVP. He just single-handedly took a team to the championship game and won it. Now, granted, Golden State wasn't Golden State with Kevin Durant being hurt and Klay Thompson, but still, you can't take that away from Kawhi. And then Paul George was in the MVP conversation this year for Oklahoma City. Now, the only reason you can say that the Lakers are a better team right now is because Paul George is coming back off injury. But if you watch Kawhi the other night, their team, the way they're the best defensive team in the world, and offensively, Kawhi is one of the best players in the world.
And we know that defense wins championships, but I'm not going to lie. I definitely did the knee jerk when I first saw LeBron and Anthony Davis on the same court together and said to myself, no one's going to be able to stop this team. Why then do you think everybody is buying in to the fact that LeBron and that squad are going to be completely unstoppable?
LeBron James had 5 months off. I don't think he's had 5 months off in the past 10 years.
Is that a good or a bad
I think
thing?
that's a great thing for him. I think that helps him rest, especially for a season. 82 games is a long time. That's why you hear players talk about load management. Mark this down. You have to, in order to get out of the West, you have to be a top 4 seed. You want that home court advantage. So still a lot of big time teams, a lot of parity in this league in the Western Conference, but getting that top 4 seed is, you need it.
And I like that the Lakers have a bunch of dudes with something to prove. Even LeBron, right? Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, McGee.
He's hurt, yeah.
They've got a lot to prove. A chip on your shoulder, if you will. Jay Will sticking around all day. Dak Prescott coming up on Get Up has been average at best.